This is Cadet Rob, 1985, and today we're going to be talking about the U.S. Air Force enlisted ranks. This is a subject I got interested in when my dad was stationed in Germany the third time, and we were stationed at Zweibrücken Air Force Base, and I went to high school in the Air Force Base, and so I got interested in the Air Force's rank structure. And of course, the enlisted, started off as part of the Army, in the Army Air Corps in the 1920s, and they had the 7 basic rank structures that the Army had because they were part of the Army. And so you can kind of see that this continues on even till today with the 1, 2, and 3 stripes at the beginning, although they gave up eventually the private corporal ranks. But then Staff Sergeant, Technical Sergeant, Master Sergeant, they did keep that structure going forward. In the 1940s and World War II era, they become part of the U.S. Army Air Forces. And you'll notice that they add the propeller and wing insignia on their stripes. And that was very common in the Air Forces at that time. But other than that, it mostly stays the same other than the technician grades that was common throughout the Army. In 1949, they become their own service. They become the Air Force. But they continue with the private first class corporal sergeant, staff sergeant, tech sergeant, and master sergeant names. They just changed to these kind of rounded chevrons with the Air Force meatball inside of it. In 1952, they change to, they never really changed, but they proposed changing the stripes of Airman 3rd, 2nd, and 1st class, which is a new title for these ranks. But they proposed straightening the chevrons out. They never actually do it, although they did create some of these patches. It was the idea of General Vandenberg, but they never actually accomplish the change. All right, and after the wars, over in 1958, then they add the super sergeants, the senior master sergeant, the chief master sergeant. They also add the lozenge or diamond that indicates first sergeant at all of those ranks, E7, E8, and E9. All the master sergeant grades now have the master sergeant or the first sergeant at each level. In 1959, they change basic airman to airman basic. Other than that, there's really no other change in the insignia. And then in 1966, they add for the first time the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. But they also make a few other small changes. In that they change Airman First Class to Sergeant, and Airman Second Class becomes Airman First Class. All right, in 1976, they try an experiment with these stripes, and they blew out the star in the meatball for Airman First Class, and for Senior Airmen. So in the lowest of the 3 enlisted ranks that have an insignia, E2, E3, and E4, they blew out the meatball, or at least the star in the meatball. It's still there, but it's harder to see because it's blue on blue. And then to indicate the difference between a sergeant and a senior airman, the sergeant has the old traditional white star. Other than that, everything else remains the same. In 1993, they return back. They get rid of the blue meatballs, and they go back to the basic stripes from before. But they do make a new change in that before it was only E8s and E9s that had the up-facing rockers, right? The top rockers on there. In 1993, they change with the up-facing rocker starting at E7 and Master Sergeant. So the top 3 ranks, 7, 8, and 9, all have the rockers now, which creates much larger patches for the E9 rank. All right, and then finally in 1998, through 2003. They add the Command Chief Master Sergeant, which you can see who has a diamond here. Other than that, pretty much everything else stays the same. And the final change in 2004 till now is a change of the the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Now was blank inside here before, and now they add, like similar to the Army, with the 2 stars and the national emblem inside of there. Alright, so that is the evolution of the Air Force enlisted stripes. And this has been Cadet Rob 1985, and I hope you enjoyed this video.